Allow me to sing you the song of my people. It's called How to Be a Decent Player in Fallout 76, and my friend over there is phasing through the bench. This has ruined my concentration. There goes my intro. Look, I'm gonna put down my little ukulele. Ukulele, because it's a Nuka-Cola ukulele. Ukulele. Could you...
I'm not in the way.
Yeah, I mean...
Am I in the way?
You're in the way of the bench.
Why'd I haul this stuff all the way out here?
Jeez.
I haven't seen any other Brotherhood out this way.
It's always whingy complaining about something. I'm just going to jetpack up the top of my house up here. So Fallout 76 is doing something really interesting right now in that it's continuously setting new record player numbers day after day. We're a little over a week from the initial burst at this point when the show came out and people started onboarding, and they started giving the game away with Amazon Prime, and it's on Xbox Game Pass as well. It's on discount at the moment on all the stores. There's lots of opportunities for new players to pour in. They even had a free week, which I think is technically still going for the next 2 days, I think. You've still got a couple of days to play for free. But you're new to the game. You've been playing for a week now. You come back to it. You've started to come across other people's camps. You've sort of leveled up a bit now. You're having more adventures. You're joining group events. You might be wondering, what is the etiquette around camps? And I've seen a few different posts on this subject on various social media places over the last few days in particular, as people sort of soaking into the game a bit more. And they're discovering other people's camps and exploring other people's camps and wondering what the etiquette is when it comes to the stuff and things in the camps. So this is my camp here. Just, nothing too fancy, nice and simple. But, I've got a farm out here, for example, in my little greenhouse. Is it okay if you come and take all my food? Is that okay if you just come and harvest all of this stuff? The short answer is yeah. We go by sort of buffet rules, basically, with camps. If you need it, feel free to take it. There are ways we can stop you from doing that, which we'll talk about later. In particular, if I didn't want you to have easy access to all my food in here, I could put a door in this frame and then lock that door. That's one of the things we do. But before we get running with all of that, let's pop out back to the Atom store. So I want to talk about a couple of not essential, but very, very useful items you might want to pick up in the Atom store as you accumulate some atoms. And you don't have to buy atoms, by the way. You can get them what amounts to for free by doing some of these challenges they've got here. Particularly easy for a new player, because lots of this stuff unlocks fairly regularly. As you get deeper and deeper into the game, this stuff becomes harder and harder. But you should be able to queue a first stack of atoms pretty quickly, pretty early on. So, for example, let's have a look here at one of the easier ones to get. Kill 4 different kinds of animals. As soon as you kill 4 different kinds of animals, that's 40 atoms in your pocket right there. How about different kinds of anthropods? 40 atoms for that one too. Killing 76 Scorch, you'll get that done pretty quickly. That's another 20 atoms right there. So as you can see, lots and lots and lots of stuff that yields you various amounts of atoms. And same thing for social as well, taking photographs in certain places or building certain things in camp. Completing events while in a group. You do that 76 times, 20 atoms right there. If you join a group, 10 atoms right off the bat there. Make a friend, 10 atoms. Revive a player, 20 atoms. Use photo mode, 10 atoms. So yeah, you can get atoms for free. You don't have to pay for them. But yeah, let's back out to the store, and we'll have a look at some very useful things you might want to know about that you might want in your camp, and then we'll have another talk about etiquette. Now, there are a couple of camp-specific things that are standard in the Atomic Shop. Some stuff sort of glides in and out of the Atomic Shop on a sort of rotating basis, but the ones we're after should pretty much be standard. The Company Tea Machine here. Now, when this game first launched, Bethesda promised that there would be nothing but cosmetic stuff on the Atomic Store. They broke that promise very quickly indeed, and these days there's lots of stuff on the Atomic Store that is just pay for convenience items, and this is one of them. This is the Company Tea Machine. There's also a coffee machine which looks quite similar but does something slightly different. That's also good, but slightly harder to come by because it's not a standard item on the Atomic Store. But this one is really, really nice. So enjoy a spot of tea in the comfort of your own camp. Collects company tea over time. Now this is something you can craft in-game if you have the recipe for it, but this just generates it for free. 5 at a time over time. It holds up to 5, but it'll recharge itself over time with those 5. And we'll pop in a game and we'll talk about what this company tea actually does and why you really, really want this. So here is my company tea machine. So as you can see, it's full there. I'll take all 5 of those. And we can have a look at what they do by coming over to the food and drink. Company T. So it provides you with 2 rads. Not an awesome thing, but it's a very small amount of rads. Gives you AP regen. 10% boost to your AP regen for about 30 minutes, I think. Also gives you disease resist. 20% boost of disease resist. Fills 41% of your water. When we take a swig of that, if you, for example, like to run around, or you like to use VATS, or indeed you like to jetpack, that boost to the AP regen is going to be extremely handy indeed. And that thing actually generates more T than you can practically use, because it will generate all 5 of those back again before you've used up the 5 you're carrying with you, pretty much. Now, one of the other must-haves in the Atomic Store, as far as I'm concerned, if you like decorating your camp, you are going to want this. This is a new item that was only very, very recently added to the game a few weeks ago, but this is the chessboard display. So it's just a little chessboard, but they've made it so it can display pretty much any item in the game, at least, you know, the ones that'll fit on it. So whether it be, you know, a bottle of whiskey or a pumpkin or this little toy rabbit thing, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of junk and bits and pieces you can display on this thing. But there is a trick that advanced camp designers have been really employing with this chessboard display to make displaying items look a lot more natural than just sitting everything in your camp on top of a chessboard. So let's have a talk about that. Actually, scratch that thought. What I'm going to do instead, because this video is running a little bit long as it is, so no time for a full-on tutorial. I'm going to link you to a tutorial on this technique. It's called drop merging. It's from Mr. West Tech here. He didn't invent it. He just did a nice, concise tutorial for it that I watched a couple of weeks ago. I found it to be very straightforward, very well explained. So yeah, you can use the chessboard to display items on flat surfaces, and then use this special trick to hide the chessboard so the items look like they're sitting on the table or whatever itself. Semi-advanced technique for camp decoration, but one I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of in the near future. So my live stream character, well, he wants to build a bar. So I'm going to put bottles and crap everywhere using this technique. It's going to be awesome. If you are using a lot of power armor or certain power weapons that use fusion cores, this is a decent investment too. Yeah, if you might want to save up your items for this one because it recharges fusion cores. Normally fusion cores are disposable items and they're not that easy to farm. There are a couple of ways to do it fairly efficiently, but this makes it really easy. This basically you just plug into your power at your camp and it recharges fusion cores over time. So if you use power armor a lot, you definitely want to think about investing in one of these as well. You can see I've got mine running right here, and it is, oh, look at that, we're all fully charged up here, so we can press R to unassign those fully charged ones. So that one needs charging, that one needs charging. So yeah, you can have your fusion cores on a constant recharge cycle. Do be warned though, if they go totally flat in the field, they still get destroyed. So always stop using them just before they go totally flat if you want to keep recharging them. But yeah, this thing counts as part of your standard stash. It's not a separate storage thing, but it only pays attention to fusion cores. So you can assign and unassign which ones you want charged from there. It does need to be hooked up to power though, and it does need a fair smack of power, so you are going to want a decent sized generator or multiple generators to make use of that. That's a mid to late game kind of item right there, before you can have the enough power to make that thing useful and enough fusion cores to make that thing useful. But yeah, very nice thing to have in the back of your mind for something useful. The only thing I don't like about it is it makes this hideous noise the entire time. So yeah, maybe don't put it in the space in the camp where you stand around a lot. I need to move mine because I use this room a lot and I'm really tired of hearing that noise constantly. This is the other thing I would think about investing in as well. This is the sap collector. It's a tree you can plant at your camp, and basically it generates adhesive, tree sap adhesive. And adhesive is useful for many things when it comes to crafting and repairing your stuff. You're always going to want adhesive. Again, there are other ways to farm it in-game by growing 3 certain types of plants and using a recipe to make vegetable starch, which can then be turned into adhesive. But this just does it passively, and it does hold about 10 at a time. So it's really nice to just have this sitting in camp, just having some adhesive ready for you. The Communist Collectron here, I quite like this. All he does, a little robot at your camp, he just stumbles around and collects piles of junk. Not massive quantities, but they can come in handy for supplementary bits and pieces of junk. You can also set him up to collect bits and pieces of food as well. Again, not a lot, just supplementary stuff, but it's kind of nice just having him wander around camp. He's quite funny as well. There are many different kinds of Collectron, but this is the only one that's always on the store. The other ones phase in and out of the store or appear on the scoreboard, completionist, the season pass style thing. So here's my scrap bot. This is the auto miner, so I don't have my communist Assaultron at the moment, but this guy actually collects ores for various smelting purposes. I needed a little extra, so I swapped my Collectron out for the ore mining one. Look, this is one of the other types of Collectron I was talking about. Most of them look like that big robot guy, but one of them is the little junk bot here. Junkyard dog Collectron. He does basically the same thing, he just collects junk. But he's also an adorable little dog. Again, he's not always on the atomic soul. Sometimes he's in and out. Sometimes he's on scoreboards. He's very cute. Who doesn't want a robo dog? Let's have a look. Yeah, here we go. The dog has been collecting loose screws. I actually legitimately need loose screws. I'm going to take those. I've run out of those damn things. The gears as well I'm going to take. I'll leave the rest behind. If a camp owner doesn't want you to take something, they'll generally lock it. But the kind of, buffet rules apply. Don't take what you don't need just because you can. So on the subject of locking things, you can see here I've got my main building locked. That's not really to keep people out. That's basically because my ally over here and the one I had in before him kept leaving the door open, and so do other people who come in and out all the time. I want that door shut so other stuff doesn't wander in, and just for tidiness purposes. So I locked the door, so now no one leaves it open. But anyone with the mutation that lets them jump higher or a jetpack can actually come up here and get into my camp anyway. But for example, if I wanted to keep people out of that, if I considering that stuff precious, I can go into camp edit mode, and you can see down the bottom there, I've got F for lock, and I can select the level at which I want to lock that. Now that really doesn't matter to much practical extent. Most people just lock level 3 because it makes it the hardest to pick, and it sort of gives the impression that, hey, I don't want you using this, just leave this one alone. Feel free to use anything else in the camp, but I need this material, so leave that alone. And you can do the same thing with pretty much anything that generates material. So I've got the little chicken coop here, which is an item you can buy in-game for gold bullion. Very handy. It actually delivers you fertilizer. So if you're planting a lot of crops, or indeed fertilizer is used in making some grenades and stuff like that, very, very handy. But if I wanted to, I could lock that. Same thing with my sap collector here. I spoke about that just a moment ago. Got 3 in there at the moment. I'll take those. I can lock that as well if I wanted to. In fact, that one is locked. You can see up the top there. It says locked. Because I don't want people taking my adhesive. They're free to, take the stuff from the farm and make their own vegetable starch. I've got plenty of that. But I always want to make sure that I have adhesive when I need it, so I've locked that tree. Same thing with the radstag meat thing here. Nothing you can buy in-game for gold bullion. This generates up to 5 meat. Radstag meat's very good if you've got a carnivore perk. But you can lock that as well if you like. But frankly, this thing generates meat so quickly. Again, it generates more than you can use, practically speaking. By the time you've eaten all the meat it produces, or it's rotted away, it's got more ready to go. So there's no real harm in letting people have access to that, in my opinion. But yeah, that's kind of camp etiquette for you. Again, basically, shush! Don't care when you were last had your maintenance check. Just get on with the job, slave robot. What was I saying? Right, yeah, camp etiquette. It's basically buffet rules. If you need it and it's not locked, feel free to take it. If you don't need it, don't take it. Leave it for someone else. And if it is locked, you can pick that lock and get access to it. But that will make you a wanted player, which means everybody else on the map will suddenly disappear, and you will have a bounty on your head, and people will hunt you down and kill you for it, because it automatically triggers PvP as well. Whether or not you consider that worth it, who knows. And in case you haven't noticed, some in-camp items, like the punch bowl here, can actually dispense things. I can actually fill this punch bowl up with booze that people can actually take if I wanted to. So let's put some more bourbon in there. Whoop, nope, that was wrong. I need to assign. So yeah, that little keg icon there indicates that this bourbon is now in the punch bowl that anyone can take a drink from as they're passing by. Now, the final thing you might not know about your camp that you really, really should know is, you see how my camp's just there, all lit up there? Anyone you're on a team with will have their yellow camp as well. Anyone you're not on a team with, server's a little bit empty of them. This might be a good example, actually. Yeah, the white camps, you can change your camp icon as well. So if you just go over to your camp and you go clickety-doo, you can change your icon to whatever you like, basically, here. There's just a bunch of defaults you can go for. But did you know that your camp is not actually visible on the map by default, which is why I think I'm not seeing that many camps on this particular map, despite this being a busy server, because I just did an event. There's a bunch of people on the server, I know that for a fact, but they're not all showing. Not all the camps are showing up. So I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players, 6 players, and I can only see 3 other camps right now. That's because most of the camps are hidden. Check this out. If you click on your own camp, public map icon off. That is off by default. Your camp is not visible on the map by default. So if you want other people to see your camp, come to your camp, use your vending machine, you need to put that as on. You can see here when you hover over someone's camp, I can see what's in their vending machine. So this person's got 18 meds in there, they've got some explosives in there, not very much in their thing. This guy's got 56 plans in their vending machine. So if you look for plans, might be worth going to that one. Grangoro there. So if you want people to be able to see your camp on the map, come along to your camp. There we go, this guy's got his little... This is a classic old school player thing. We used to use these signs all the time to point towards where the vending machine is. So either this is a new player who's picked up on that, or it's an old school player who knows the rules, and there's a couple of vending machines. And the reason people have more than one vending machine is, well, sometimes they expect more than one person at the camp to use one of these, because only one person can use these at the same time. But yeah, I could see on the map this guy had a vending machine. Oh, look, here's another example of camp things. Spooky candy bowl! So we can use that. Thanks for trick-or-treating, have a candy, come back to this camp in an hour, feel free to visit others in the meantime. So we just got a bit of candy. We got some mystery candy. Who knows what will happen? This mystery candy comes from a special event that runs at Halloween, but it also ran a few weeks ago as part of an April Fool's thing. Gives you kind of a random effect. I'm not going to take it now because one of those random effects makes you sugar high, and then you wake up somewhere else on the map randomly. It's hilarious. There are other things people can put in their camps, like the symptomatic here, which will cure you of any disease you are carrying. This is another item that's sometimes on offer on the Atom Store or scoreboard and whatever. We can come over here. What else? Oh yeah, we got the fortune teller machine here. There's devices people can put in their things. This one will either increase or decrease your luck for a short period of time. It's kind of a rando thing. You either get good luck or bad luck, which is kind of cute. Got a little weight bench here, which can give you a little boost of strength for a set period of time as well if you sit there and use it for a few seconds. Much like, you know, using the bed or using the instruments and stuff, there's lots of different things that give you short-term bonuses that people can decorate their camp with. And again, they're free to use for anybody. It doesn't, cost anybody anything to use those. So you can just go ahead and use them if you need them. One last thing, actually, just while I think about it, I was just sort of hopping around the various camps to see what else I might have forgotten to tell you about. And that's, it's a personal thing, but it's a courtesy thing to other players. If you are going to design a camp like this gravity-defying, weird-looking camp with the, it doesn't look like it belongs with the rest of the architecture in the world. But it's okay, because this guy's just built it way out here in the boonies anyway. But if you want to build something like this, try not to build it in the high-traffic areas, like on this main street down here where all the newbies come through. If you're going to build down here, at least try and make it a lore-accurate camp. Something that looks like it belongs with the rest of the architecture, just for the sake of immersion. Because some people do like to let themselves be immersed in this game. Some people even go full roleplay in the game. And seeing stuff like this modern architecture that doesn't fit with the aesthetics of Fallout in general, it's sort of physics-defying kind of thing. These can be a lot of fun to build, and there are a lot of tricks to try and get something like this to work, because Fallout doesn't want you to build things like this. Sorry, I just got distracted. I'm currently trying to design a greenhouse for my secondary character that we're streaming with at the moment. So I just stopped for a minute to look around at what this person has done here, and I'm thinking whether or not I want to employ what they've done. Oh, this, by the way, turbo fertilizer. This is another item that only sometimes is available. But check this out. If we grab that turbo fertilizer stuff, it will be in our weapons. Right there. So we equip it as if it was a grenade, okay? And let's say we pick all of this. We'll just go ahead and pick all of this. What this turbo fertilizer stuff allows you to do is, when you throw it, Skadunch. All of the stuff instantly grows back. I really want one of these, but again, it's not always available. But if you come across one of these and you're farming, yeah, feel free to snatch that and regrow the stuff, either to reharvest or just to, you know, leave it as you found it. But yeah, lore accurate builds. If you want to go nuts with them, try to keep them away from high traffic areas, so you don't really distract many other people's gameplay with things that obviously don't aesthetically belong. That's just, you know, it's not a rule. It's just a courtesy thing that I would prefer people do. And I know some other players get a bit pissy about it. Some people don't give a single F. You know, if you are going to do something weird and wacky with your camp, do try and keep that in mind. You know, again, not a rule. Just might be a nice thing to think about for other players. Because it is a multiplayer game. Even if you play solo, you have to admit and acknowledge that you share the world with other players. So, you know, try not to be a huge D-bag about things. Or, you know, this one, I mean, I'm using this one as an example, but this one is actually not too bad. There are some really, really, really bizarre builds that a lot of people have spent a lot of time and effort doing, and they look amazing, but yeah, they don't fit with the world. So just be conscious of where you're putting that stuff. Anyway, that's all I have to say, I think. Pretty much all I have to say. Mostly what I have to say. I probably got more to say. If you want to hear me talk about more, I am streaming this weekend again on the new player that we started, having a lot of fun with. He's a melee only, and he's an alcoholic, and his name is Bruce Hammer, and I'm having a blast with him. So yeah, twitch.tv/BluntNate for that. Everything else is here on the Twitters and stuff. Thank you for watching. I am Blunty. I'll catch you next time. Thank you as always to the patrons scrolling up above there.